Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is your host Majestic speaking with another episode of Mech Warrior Online here. And today we're playing with the Orion IIC-C. We went through the Hunchback IIC, we went through the Highlander IIC. Now it's time for the Orion IIC, and we might even go through the Jenner IIC, but that probably won't come until after the new skill tree is out. But I did want to put some thoughts out there for the Orion IIC, specifically because a lot of you guys were asking about it. It's in between the Hunchback and the Highlander, and a lot of you were questioning what I would do with it, what I would place on it. So as you can see, we have dual UAC 10s and triple SRM 6s with Artemis. So we're going to be messing around from mid to short range. I really like the UAC 10s over the LB 10s. That's just a personal preference. It does work with LB 10s as well. And as you can see, we're here on Mining Collective. Right in front of us, we have this Jenner that's coming after us. Looks like he's trying to get back into cover. We did get a kill right there. We are playing Conquest game mode. 13 minutes left on the clock, so we did skip a little ahead here so that you weren't watching us just walking into the battle. But as you can see, my team is trying to get a flank on these guys. We have a bunch of targets here in front of us that don't realize we are in their flank. So I'm going to follow this Griffin, and we're going to head straight for this King Crab who has no idea we're right next to him. So we're just going to lay into that torso. There he goes. We got the kill. Now switching targets real quick. We're going to go for that Direwolf in the corner. We did overheat, so we do have to be careful here. We do have another mech here right in the corner. This Roughneck just backed himself in, and my entire team is laying into this guy. There he goes. We got the kill shot. So that is going to take him out as well. Now we have to help out our crab friend who seemed to be overheated. But right around this corner, there is a Black Knight. He's going to take a face full of lead and 18 short-range missiles to the center torso. Does go down. We did get some support by that King Crab, and that is able to take him out. We are a secondary target at this point, because that Direwolf is focusing up on our friendly, that King Crab. We're just going to provide some amplification damage from this range, try to control our heat management a little bit, and we got the kill on that Direwolf as well. A couple slugs going into that center torso does take him out. Now everyone is focusing up on Hotel, that linebacker. He's probably going to get taken out pretty quick, so we're going to change targets and go back towards the middle. Now we did get a little bit of targeting information on that Sparky, but our teammate is able to take him out as well. He had a cherry CT and cord leg, so he didn't last too long with our friendly right there. Now we're going to head towards the Echo 4, Delta 4 kind of quadrants here, because I feel like that's where the rest of their team is, if anything. We have a friendly up here. He's not getting targeted by anything, but we have the Shadow Cat, who looks like he's trying to get a position on a couple of our friendlies. We're putting a big salvo into his backside here. He is all kinds of red. A couple salvos again into his back. He's legged and everything, trying to go for that kill shot to get the final kill. But my teammate is able to wrap that one up. We put a tremendous amount of damage into him, enabling us to finally end this round, and that is gonna do it. So let's check out the end screen here. 3 kills, 5 assists, 5 times doing the most damage, 861 damage total with 5 components destroyed. A great start, a great build so far from what I can see. A little heat intensive, so you just might have to manage that a little better, certainly than I did this first round. But that's going to do it. A great round overall, even amongst the entire team. Look at that damage spread. No one under 100 damage. So a lot of people contributing in many different ways. Even despite having a couple mechs scattered across the battlefield on our team, we were still able to wrap it up and get those final kills to end and secure the victory. But that's going to do it for the first round of gameplay. Let's hop back into the Mech Lab and go through the overview of the mech and the custom build on this, the Orion IIC-C variant. Here we go. Alrighty guys, welcome back to the Mech Lab. We're going to go through the details of the build on this guy I have in front of me, the Orion IIC-C variant. Now I had a lot of you guys coming up and asking me, you know, how do I pilot these things? I love taking out heavy mechs, but I just don't know a good build or even, you know, where to start really. What should I be thinking about when I'm actually, you know, creating my loadouts, taking it out on the battlefield, figuring out exactly what kind of role I want to play. And the Orion chassis in general, whether you're talking Inner Sphere or even on the clan side of things, are very, very interesting mechs. They're very unique mechs, and they have a lot to offer, and even after making this video, I think I'm going to start experimenting with them a little bit more, just because I hadn't really paid that much attention to them, but I really enjoyed playing with them. As you saw in the first round, we had a lot of fun, and we still have a couple more rounds to go. But as for what we're going to do right here, we're going to go through the overview of not only the mech, but also the build. You saw exactly what kind of custom loadout I placed on this mech in the first round of gameplay, but it's time to dive a little bit deeper into the details here. So let's check out first exactly what this mech has to offer. 2 ballistic, 2 energy, 3 missile, 1 AMS, and 0 ECM. If we look at the quirk summary list, all it has is base armor bonuses. So in the center torso, left torso, left arm, left leg, right leg. It has all this base armor bonus, but not in the head. So that's the only place that you don't get that armor bonus, which isn't really that big of a deal. But pretty much everywhere else on this mech does get a little bit of a buff. And I'm going to explain that in just a second, which goes behind the rationale of the build. So if we check out exactly what we placed on this mech and where those hard points are located, you'll find that this mech is very, very interesting in what you're kind of expected to do with it. So if we check out the right torso, we have the 2 ballistic hard points that are considered the right torso, but if you look at where they're actually placed, they are substantially lower than where the cockpit actually is. So they're not a high-mounted kind of ballistic approach with the Orions. So that's where that armor bonus comes into effect. You're exposing the mech a lot more in order to make sure that your shots clear any kind of natural terrain or any kind of object that might be in front of you. So you do have to actually give a lot of face time in order to fire off these UAC-10s in connecting with your opponents. So that is the rationale behind those armor bonuses there. This is a clan mech, so you don't see quirks and everything that often on the clan mechs, but in this particular instance, it's kind of necessary, especially for the Orion chassis with these low-mounted ballistics and the low-mounted energy hardpoints, which I'll dive into in just a second. But as for the ballistics, you do have to have a lot of face time there. So that's the rationale behind that. They are clustered together, one on top of the other. So both of them, when you're double tapping, you know, it's the same stream. You're not firing from different angles or anything. They are literally right on top of each other. So pretty consolidated, pretty concise, and pretty pinpoint in exactly where your shots are headed. And when you're leading your targets, you're not trying to, you know, think about 2 different placements of where those hard points are in order to calculate exactly how far ahead of your opponents you should be firing. Now, I decided to go with the UAC-10s instead of the LB-10s simply because I just like, I really just enjoy using the UAC-10s a lot more. It's a lot more fun for me, and in leading my targets, it gives you that practice. It gives you that practice where you have to make your shots count. Again, with ballistic weapons, you do have a limited amount of ammo. You don't have, they're not energy weapons like PPCs or lasers or anything that are a little bit more forgiving. You do have to make sure that your shots count so you get better with depth perception and in just understanding what kind of range and where your cursor should be aimed in order to make sure that your shots are actually connecting. Now, on the flip side of things, we have the 3 missile hardpoints. We have 2 in the left torso and 1 in the left arm. But look at the placement of all 3 of these missile hardpoints. They are very, very close to one another. Very, very consolidated, including the one in the left arm. That is a very, very high-mounted left arm missile hardpoint. It's actually higher than the second missile hardpoint in the torso. So they are very close together. So, you know, if you're peeking over the top, for the most part, they are in line with the cockpit. So if you can see it, you can shoot it. And what you're going to be doing is you're really going to be using a lot of alpha strikes with this mech. So, you know, once you're giving your opponents that face time, you're not going to really want to poke too much with it, because that's a very, very risky kind of deal where the exposure that you're giving for the trade-off of only being able to fire off these UAC-10s at a distance versus the amount of damage and amount of potential damage you could receive because you have to expose the entire half or top half of the torso it's just not worth it. So you know that whenever you're firing these off, yes, you can, do a little bit of poking and peeking at the beginning. That's understandable. But once the battle actually starts to develop is where this mech really starts to shine. And that's when you're utilizing these 3 missile hardpoints and the UAC-10s in conjunction with one another. You are constantly rocking the cockpit of your opponents. They are just going to be... it's just going to be rattling all over the place between the salvos of SRMs, the salvos of UAC-10 ammo, the slugs that are just constantly hitting the cockpit. If you can make sure that you're giving face time to your opponents, really lay into them, that's where this mech really has that trade-off. And again, you have that armor bonus that can make this mech stand in there a little longer than some of its counterparts. So those are a couple of things that I took into consideration here. You can also put LB-10s on here. You could switch these. I have seen Orion learn boats. Not that I would suggest it, especially with these high-mounted hardpoints. It's definitely more optimal for SRMs. And as you can see, I did put 4 tons of UAC-10 ammo in there, along with 4 tons of SRM ammo. So this thing is loaded to the teeth. I believe we have 210 shots total with the UAC-10, no, 240, I'm sorry, 240 shots of UAC-10 ammo and 400 shots of SRM ammo. And you do churn through the ammo pretty quickly with this mech, especially once the battle starts to develop. You're double tapping, maybe you're cycling between the UAC-10s and your SRMs. But it really is a lot of fun. It's a blast. It really puts your opponents on their heels, and that's really what I love about it the most. We have 75 out of 75 tons, 69 out of 78 slots, 460 out of 462 armor. The only spots that we took armor out of is the head, and that allowed me to fit that 3rd double heatsink in this Clan XL 340 engine. It has a 1.5 heat management ratio, 13 double heatsinks, so the heat management is great because we're not utilizing those energy hardpoints, and that was another thing that I wanted to point out, is utilizing those energy hardpoints. They are very low mounted energy hardpoints, even lower than your ballistics. So you really have to expose the mech if you want to make sure that your energy weapons are firing off. And I personally just didn't see a beneficial trade as to having, the energy weapons there, just to say that I filled up the hard point versus catering to what I really wanted to do with this mech, which is focused pretty much around here, the high mounts and the torso mounted weapons, because that's where this mech really does shine. And if it does get shot, I can use this right arm as a buffer or a shield. So that's what the focus was here. So we have a great heat management ratio, but the heat dissipation is a little troublesome. So once you do start to peak with that heat management, it's pretty hard to cool down, especially if you want to keep yourself in the battle. So that's you really, once you fire off a couple alphas, then you're going to be cycling through, going from the UACs to the missiles and vice versa. 56-point alpha is what we have to deal here. So this mech definitely packs a punch at that first level of using that alpha strike. So you can afford to use an alpha. It will not spike your energy to the point, or your heat rather, to the point where you can't get it back down to a reasonable or manageable level. You can even go through maybe 2 or 3 salvos before you really have to start looking at that heat, that heat bar that'll probably be in the warning sign. So with that being said, it is a mastered mech, and with speed tweak, it goes 78.9 kph. No jump jets or anything like that. This mech cannot have jump jets. We could have placed a targeting computer on here. I decided that I was just strictly going to stick with, catering to the weapons, having that bigger engine in there, and pretty much just using this mech as a faceplant kind of mech, more of like a tactical surprise brawler, if you will. So, in the right position, utilizing the modules, which I'll show you in just a second, that I placed on here, in tandem with this kind of loadout, you really can not only surprise, but overwhelm your opponents on the battlefield. So it has an XL340 in there, and like I said, with speed tweak goes almost 79 kph. As for the modules, advanced seismic sensor and radar deprivation, absolutely critical. I want to know if there's anything around me within 250 meters. Radar deprivation just to hide in case we are giving some face time to our opponents and we need to get out of their line of sight, get away from the firing squad We want to duck into cover and be completely hidden. That's what the radar deprivation is for. And then for the weapon modules, I use the UAC-10 cooldown and the SRM-6 cooldown. So we get a 12% bonus on the cooldown here. As long as you can manage it, the UAC-10s won't jam, at least not as frequent as you would think. So, you know, I messed around with it first before deciding on this module, and it actually works. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't jam as much as long as you're taking into consideration, you know, cycling between the UAC-10s as opposed to really loading up and firing all 6 slugs at the same time between the two. So just keep that in mind in case you do decide to use the UAC-10s versus the LB-10. Obviously, you can use the LB-10 cooldown module as well, and you don't have to worry about jamming. Just a personal preference. As for the consumables, Cool Shot 9x9, I want this mech to be as heat efficient and cool on the battlefield as I possibly can make it. And using that Cool Shot 9x9 will get that heat management back to a normal level in case I do start to reach that threshold. And as for the improved airstrike, again, it's either intentional or tactical. So you're either using it intentionally on a group of opponents that might be consolidated very close to one another, or if you're trying to use it just as a distraction in order to help you and the rest of your team get into a more beneficial position on the battlefield, that is what that consumable is for. But enough said on the Orion IIC-C variant. One last thing I do want to point out about this mech is that, as you can see up here, that is the trade-off. This is not a Clan Omni mech. This is a 2C variant, and the difference between, or one of the biggest differences between, I should say, and the last thing I'm going to point out for now, is you cannot switch out the Omnipod, so what you see is what you get. You know, you cannot change from 3 missile, 2 ballistic, 2 energy to anything else. But the trade-off here is that you can take out this engine. You can switch out the engine and put in whatever engine you want, whether you do want to put a standard or a Clan XL engine, which, as we all know, if you put a Clan XL engine in there, you won't pop if you lose a side torso. So just keep that in mind when you're building it out. I just wanted to point that out for all of you guys who are trying to think about, you know, if they're worth actually purchasing for yourselves, and if that kind of trade-off is worth it to you, not having the Omnipods, but being able to switch out these this Clan XL engine to whatever you want. That's definitely something to take into consideration. But enough said on this guy. It's time to hit the battlefield for a couple more rounds in the Orion IIC-C variant. Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we go. Second round is going to take place on Tourmaline Desert. Now, as you can see, we're down to 12 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. We did take some damage, and I did use up some ammo. And what happened was, they tried to get a quick little flank on us right at the beginning while we were grouping up, and I scared them off a little bit. We did take some long-range fire as well, but now is when we're going to get into the thick of the battle. And up until a moment ago, it was 0-0. We did get a 1-0 advantage, and they just tied up the score as well. So it's 1-1 at this point. We were taking some Gauss rounds from that night gear way out in the back over there. Probably Gauss PPC if I had to guess. Now, right in front of us, there is a Marauder 2C, and he is accompanied by what looks like another night gear, so we do have to be a little careful. They do have some heavy firepower right in front of us, and we don't need to take any unnecessary damage, especially this early on in the match. What we're going to do right here, though, is we're actually going to dive into the bowl. We're going to take these guys out in the bowl if we possibly can, and right in front of us, there's a Mad Cat. He goes down, and right in front of us, this Ebenchag gives us his back, and we put a full alpha into his backside, so he goes down. Now, there's a Mauler and a Nova that are stacked up on top of each other, and we're just slinging lead and missiles into these guys. We're gonna go for the Mauler. He goes down. We got the kill shot on him, and my teammate is able to wrap up the kill on that Nova. So 2 very quick kills, 2 very critical kills to make the score 5-2 at this point. And now we're gonna start circling back, head towards this night gear. The night gear gets taken out, so we know we took out one of at least 2 night gears that are on their side. Going for this Cataphract, he's just taking a tremendous amount of damage from us, and that Shadow Cat looks like he overheated, so we're going to go for him as well. Looks like he's trying to back up towards the rest of his team. It looks like one of my teammates did get a kill, not sure if it was on the Shadow Cat or that Ilya Muramets. Now we're going to go for the Night Gear instead and just take this guy out once and for all, because he is providing a lot of long-range support, but my team is able to take him out. Turning our attention quickly towards this Marauder 2C, going to get a couple shots into him, but while my team takes him out, I'm going to focus focus on the awesome, and I'm going to put a full alpha into this guy despite overheating just to take him out of the battle. We have a tremendous amount of armor left that we can share with the team, so I have no problem face tanking, absorbing a lot of that damage so that the rest of the team can help out and amplify the damage that I put down on the front lines to get these final kills. And it looks like it's 11-5 right now, so only one opponent remaining. Not exactly sure where he is, but we're turning and just looking all across the map, trying to find exactly where this guy could be posted up. Not exactly sure. So now it's a chase, and we don't know how long this is going to be, but holy cow, that escalated so quickly. And I think really where the point of this battle, in which it really seesawed in our favor, was when we took out those mechs in Death Valley. I think that was absolutely critical. We took out the Mad Cat first, then we went for the Ebon Jag, the Mauler, and the Nova. So between all four of those mechs going down, kind of venturing off on their own, they kind of left the rest of their team, who was more long range, for us to commit, focus in on them, and get the kills so that we can finally end this round. 11-5, as I mentioned. We're just asking if these guys are AFK or what's going on. Our base is getting captured now, so based off where we are actually very, very close in proximity compared to the rest of the team. So we're going to go towards the base and hopefully either get the kill on this guy or at least flush him out towards the rest of my team, who will hopefully be more towards the other side of, where our base is. He only has two ways to get out unless he goes up. I'm not sure exactly what's on our base, but we're hopefully going to get enough intel so that we can decide exactly how to group up and take this guy out. We do have 7 mechs left, so it shouldn't be too hard to corner him at least. And what we're going to do is we're going to head towards Delta 8. Maybe I'm thinking whether or not we should go Delta 8, Charlie 8, and I think I'm going to commit to that because I'm just looking on the mini-map where we have a couple friendlies over there. And I think if I flush him out from Delta 8 into Charlie 8, then he'll definitely go towards Charlie 7 if he sees I'm coming from his left flank. But with this terrain here right in front of us, we might actually have to go around the other way. Yeah, we're going to have to get him on his right flank, so he'll probably go left if I chase him out and he's fast enough. Not sure if he's going to run or fight, so hopefully we can make this a quick little battle here. And yeah, there he is, right in front of us. Shadow Cat. Okay, so we have a Shadow Cat, and it looks like he's not trying to run. He realizes that his death is coming, and he's just hiding behind our base, so he doesn't want to get shot or anything. He's going to get taken out very quickly here. I'm shooting through the cracks, but we did get some shots down on him. Going to flush him out on the other side, and finally, he does kill himself. I guess he was trying to kill himself the other time. A cheap, coward's way of getting out, and yeah, you deserve that. I'm going to type that one to you because you definitely deserve that. So lame. But anyway, 3 kills, 7 assists, 926 damage, 4 times doing the most damage on the kills, and 6 components destroyed. We did top the leaderboards on this round. A fantastic round overall. Very, very evenly spread amongst all of our lances. Everyone did a fantastic job. We grouped up. We saw where they split. We took advantage of it. We took out that side of their team, and then we were all able to focus in and amplify the damage on our targets directly, ultimately leading us up to, finishing this round and getting the victory. So that's going to do it for the second round. Let's hop right back into the queue, though, and go through the third and final round of gameplay. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we go. Third and final round of gameplay is going to take place on Alpine Peaks. A very, very long-range map. We do have the heat in our favor here, but I'm curious to see how this one pans out. And I think out of all the rounds, this one is definitely the most epic. So let's hop right into the gameplay here. Now, as you can see, our team is grouping around the Lima 8, Lima 9 quadrants here, just trying to figure out exactly where their team is going to push from. There is a lot of trading going on down the Lima line, so we're going to have to keep our eyes peeled just in case they decide to push straight up that Lima side, and we do have to be ready for it. So right now, as we can see, there are a couple mechs actually on top of the mountain right here, and we could actually push up there a little bit and maybe get some damage down on these guys. Going to push our way maybe up towards the top, just see what's over here. but not make it an entire commitment. Use that seismic sensor to our advantage and just see exactly where they're forming up. We have a couple mechs getting targeted along that Lima line. That looks like there might be coming around the side here. Yeah, Golf, this Kodiak 3 is right there, and he's probably accompanied by something, some long-range laser fire and PPC fire is what we are greeted by. Now, I know I cannot do much of anything. My UAC 10s are on the right side of the mech, and I'm not going to overexpose myself too much in order to get any sort of shots down, especially if they are not within optimal range. So I'm just going to stay patient. It's still very early on in the match, 12 minutes left on the clock, just peeking around the corner to see exactly how far in distance our opponents are. That is my closest target. That Kodiak 3 right there is the closest thing that I will get to actually securing any sort of damage or a kill. And I'm not going to take that kind of risk because I know that a lot of them are grouped up there. Now, we did lose one of our friendlies, so we do have to be mindful of that. Hopefully we can even the battlefield here. Yeah, there we go. So we did get a kill, so it is 1-1 at this point. 11 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. And already, especially on Alpine Peaks, the battle is underway. So they did happen to land another kill on us, 2-1 now. I think we might have to push up on top. We do have a friendly up there, so maybe we could give him some support. It is going to be a struggle getting up this hill, though. We're going to do our best to do it, wiggle and worm our way up until finally we can maybe land on top. Yeah, we're getting there, inching our way, inching our way, inching our way. Come on, buddy, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Get that KPH up so that we can finally make that final push on top of the mountain here. Maybe one final push up, and there we go. All right, so we are on top of the mountain here now. It did take a second, but hopefully it pays off. We're going to go for this Hellbringer here, put a big alpha into this guy, Kappa, and he's going to back up very, very quickly. He does have a cord left torso and a cord center torso, so if we can land even a direct hit on that center torso, he's going to pop like a cherry, and that is what we're looking for, just to put these guys down, because they do have the high ground on us. So we're going to focus up on this Hellbringer again. He's peering his head over. He's trying to get some shots down on us, but I'm going to move my position a little bit here. Peering over the hill. He's right there. Big shot into that center torso, and he goes down. So we've got a huge kill, and that evens the score. It's 3-3. Changing targets real quick onto this Hunchback, pushing him off the top of the mountain here. That was absolutely huge. He is accompanied by a Stormcrow and another mech, so you know what? That is my cue. I'm going to hop back down and get back with the rest of the team here. We have a couple mechs that look like they might be pushing up the Kappa line. We know that a lot of their team is on Lima, you know, in Lima 8, Lima 9. That's what everyone's saying over the comms. It is 3-5, so we are down right now. We need to make a big effort here in order to come back. Now, right behind us, we have this very, very aggressive Sparky. He's just going all out towards the rest of my team and easily gets taken out because we all focused up on him. Turning around, we have this Direwolf that's definitely overcommitted. Probably thought that Sparky was going to last a little bit longer so that he could put some huge damage numbers down, but he gets taken out as well. It's 5-6, so we did get 2 kills back, but they did take out another one, so half of us are down. Now, focusing our attention on this Marauder IIC, we did take off one of his arms, which is absolutely huge here. He does have a Gauss rifle and 2 PPCs. He did core up my left torso. We took off his right side, and then I finally got the kill on him by taking out that left torso, so he's down. Now, focusing up on this Timberwolf here, he's going to go down pretty quick. He's legged at this point as well. He's probably going to hop down. I'm going to have to hop back over the hill in order to secure this kill, maybe get the damage directly into the backside of his center torso in order to take him out. And yes, a couple more salvos, and he should be down. There he finally goes, and we're able to secure that kill with the rest of our team here, 9-7. So we are still behind the 8 ball a little bit. Now, looking down on the mini-map, they are right on top of us on that mountain. It's going to be very easy for them to pick us off unless we make some sort of huge risky move here, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going up the ridge line. I'm going to try and put some damage down on these guys. If I can get in their flank, that would be huge, but they're all starting to drop down. We did get a kill, so it's 9-8 at this point. Now, we're going to try and find a target up here, but they're all dropping. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drop in right behind them, and right now it is 9-9, so we did get another kill there. Now, dropping down behind them, there's this Timberwolf who killed one of our friendlies, and I get get a big stab in his back to take him out as well. 10 to 10. Now I'm going for this Black Knight, and my friendly is going for what looks like a commando. So I'm going to try and take out this Black Knight, who's definitely the bigger, bulkier, heavier, more intense threat that we're going to have to deal with here. And I do have some damage to deal as long as he doesn't take out my left torso. So I'm going to go for him. I'll curse these torso-mounted weapons. One more salvo, and he finally goes down. So now it's 11 to 11. This commando was able to get the kill on one of our last friendlies. So now it's just you and me, buddy. And unfortunately, he definitely has the advantage. He has the speed advantage. He's definitely going to be able to get into a better position than I am, but hopefully we can connect some very, very lucky shots and maybe get a leg off of him or something, maybe slow him down. I did put some UAC ammo into him, so he is actually smoking at this point, which is very, very good for us. But now we're going to have to try and figure out exactly where his trajectory is. And he can run circles around me. Again, I only have really 79 kph to work with. He's probably going at least 130, 140, maybe even 150 if I had to guess. So, again, we're just going to whip around the corner. Maybe he's just chilling there. I don't know. I'm just kind of taking some guesses here, but hopefully we can find him, maybe get some shots down. You know, trying to put down ballistics on light mechs moving as fast as a commando can, it's tough. It's definitely very tough. I can only hope that one of them or two of them or something connects and that he has some weak components so that we can actually take him out. But yeah, not really a good look. He definitely has the advantage on us, and according to my teammate, he has a large laser as well, so he can just really pick me apart from distance unless I get these UAC slugs into him at some point. But I am communicating with my team a little bit, just telling them, you know, obviously they're all specking me at this point, so I just said, you know, or I'm telling them, you know, I need some help. Obviously, if you guys see something, maybe I missed it or anything, I'm going to need as much help as I possibly can get. So to have so many different pairs of eyes looking around and maybe giving some different intel or something that they see, there's some large laser fire, so he's actually intentionally giving away his position. Is he teasing me? I think he might be teasing me, and if he's teasing me, now I'm just going to get ticked off. Let's check around this corner. If he is up there, I was thinking he might be on the corner of Juliet 9, knowing that I was coming for him, but I'm not seeing anything, so I still don't know where he is. All I saw is where his lasers came from. Now, if I peer around the corner, I'm guessing he might be up on the mountain again. I'm honestly not sure. I don't know where this guy could be coming from. He could have sights on me right now, and I have no idea. But no, okay, there he is. He's up on top of the mountain. Okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit and maybe go around the other side, because I don't think he spotted me. So he might be sitting there kind of guessing where I am right now. So knowing this map a little bit, I do have a little bit of a choke point here between Kappa 10 and Lima 10. If I make it through there, he will probably be able to spot me if he stays on the mountain. But if I can get through that little corridor and towards that mountain without him moving, I might be able to close that gap a little bit. And who knows, maybe be able to put some fire down. I'm not entirely sure. I'm really just going with my gut, going with my instinct here, and my instinct is telling me to run on this side and kind of just mix and hopefully get a good angle on him. I did see him over there. He is still on top of the mountain, and yes, now I know he's teasing me. He's shooting that laser off. I know he's trying to get my attention and let me know where he is. So I'm just gonna hang here for a second in case he moves and I see him. But you know, it's just really hard to predict this kind of stuff, especially when you're in such a slow-moving target versus an extremely fast-moving target. He could definitely get, you know, even behind me, and we could just duke it out like that. And there he is. He's still up on the mountain there. He definitely saw me at this point, and now he's putting that large laser into me. So I'm going to try and close the gap really, really quick and maybe put some Dakka into him, even though I'm at a very, very long range and he could easily avoid it. It is still a distraction, something he's going to have to take into consideration, because I'm sure he doesn't want to get hit by any UAC 10 slugs. Now we're closing in on the mountain, so this might be our only opportunity. Checking out the minimap, I did see a glimpse of him right there. He looks to be right on top of me, and that's what my team is saying. He is within 300 meters of range of us, so we could either go up on top of here or just take a guess and hope that he's going this way. And my instinct is telling me he's going to appear and maybe do another loop, another pass right between these two hills right here, and that's what I'm gonna hope for. We're gonna go around this side and maybe he'll peer his ugly, and there he is! So we're gonna put a big shot into that left leg. He actually got crippled out of it, and now he is stuck where he is. Gonna put some UAC-10 ammo into that torso and finally take him out. A very, very critical mistake on behalf of that commando. We took out his leg by splatting him with those SRM-6s, followed up with the UAC-10s, and took out that torso to get the final kill shot. 6 kills, 3 assists, 6 times doing the most damage, 1,019 damage with 16 components destroyed. Almost went the full length of the battle here. Critical mistake, and you tease me, you shooting your lasers off, you had the range on me, you definitely had the overall advantage. And I guess karma came back around and bit that guy in the butt, because we got a huge shot on him and we were able to clean it up and get the final kill. So that's going to do it for the round. That's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had an absolute blast. My heart is pumping out of my chest right now because of that last round. Super intense, but a tremendous amount of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know this was a long time coming and a lot of you guys were looking for it, so I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, check out the links in the description. I will have the Smurfy link as well as my PayPal and Patreon pages in case you guys do want to help support the channel a little bit. I really do appreciate all the support that you've given me thus far. It is super incredible to have this kind of community revolving around my channel and this game, so I just want to thank you all for the support. I really do appreciate it, and I'm having an absolute blast with everything that I'm creating for you guys. So thank you again for the ideas, the suggestions, just seeing what I come up with, and you know, messing around out there on the battlefield and seeing what we can do. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. Take care, guys.